I made a comment the other day on one of my live streams, and I thought this was common knowledge that the Hut company, the Hut Group, had bought a controlling stake in Arrow. It's the same company that has several websites, including Zavvi. Now, this is two things that kind of worry me largely about this. Over the recent year or so, we have seen several Zavvi only steelbooks exclusive to them coming out. Over the years, I grew from loving Zavvi to slowly becoming quite resentful and hateful of them. It's one of the websites I least visit now, and it used to be a site I ordered a lot from, and they're very much chasing the current trends within movies, and them taking over Arrow seems like something that could be problematic. It could be worrying. We've already seen a slight decline, depending on perspective, on the releases that Arrow have been putting out. We've now seen the death of Arrow Academy. We now have the knowledge that the Hut Group now own Arrow. And I say this as a fan of Arrow. I have around about 400 titles over Academy and video films. It is a company I love. It's a company that I'm quite a fan of. But I'm not going to be fanatical about it. I won't agree with everything they do. I'm going to hold them to a higher standard because I believe that's what us as fans should do. Arrow, for me, for the past little while, have slowly been declining in their output. Now, it could be down to a plethora of different things that are causing this. It could be rising costs. It could be the fact that so many boutiques have sprung up and the chance to get a hold of movies is becoming slimmer. The costs of licensing, the legalities of finding out owners and getting deals with various companies to get the movies, all of these things could be becoming problematic. But in my eyes, when I think of Arrow Video, I think of cult film. When they came out, they were releasing giallo, they were releasing Italian movies, they were releasing long lost horror slashers and those kind of things. In the past few years, they have moved away from that. Now, this month brought the return of Italian cinema with the Years of Lead box set, which was, for me, one of the most exciting things they've done in the longest while. Something I never knew about, and something that genuinely ignited a passion in me, and a set that I'm going to get. I just wish it was on 5 discs rather than 3 to have the 5 movies. Again, that feels like a business idea with cost cutting. But this is a company that grew up with cult. It was the cult of cinema that we got, and we seem to be moving away from that a fair bit. And that's a worrying trend. Now, it could be down to people who acquire movies moving on and their different tastes and what they want to bring to the store, to the forefront. But we also have Zavvi, another company that I really used to like, one that I used to go on and buy lots of deals with all the time, and over time has just slowly run away out of my vision, something I'm not really aware of, something I very rarely go to, and something I even rarer do I go and buy something from. And my main problem with Zavvi is their chasing of the trends. Silly things like Z boxes, silly things like merchandise, and it doesn't fill me with confidence. One of the most worrying facets about Zavvi is their increased pricing of steelbooks. Steelbooks, when they first came out, were exciting. They were new, they were novel, they were interesting artistically, they felt a little bit different. Then over time, they became more and more common, to the point now where you're almost expecting a steelbook release of some sort, and the designs became lazier, less inventive. Take for instance the new 12 Monkeys that came out. One of the worst I've seen in the longest while. But Zavvi used to release these limited steelbooks, and sometimes they would be of movies that you could quite easily go and buy for a couple of pounds on Blu-ray. It was the same disc, it was just given a shiny new package, and they would ramp up the price. And what really was the straw that broke the camel's back for me was Moon. I bought Moon on Steelbook. I loved the movie. I thought it was a really cool design. It was minimal, it was lovely, and it was limited to 1,000 units. I wanted that. I bought that. Jumped to 8 months, a year later, when all of a sudden they re-released the exact same Steelbook, limited to another 1,000 units. So that kind of detracts from that limited ability that I was buying straight away, and one of those things that really turns an audience against that fan base. From that moment on, I was done. I just simply put my hands up and said, okay, I understand what you are doing is just simply gouging the collectors and fans, and you're willing to reissue things if you're going to get more money off it, and I just stopped. And that kind of mentality that Zavvi have of chasing what's popular, oversaturating it to a point where you just had enough, is something that I really hope doesn't happen with Arrow. And the problem with new ownerships with these things is you have people going in there who have these grand ideas. And like I've said, I already feel like Arrow have moved away slightly from what made them unique and so popular in the first place. And I think that that is a huge mistake. The fans that grew up buying these movies were buying them for a reason. Now, we like Arrow. We love that company, but we're not going to buy everything. We're going to look at their releases, and now it becomes a case of what do I want? What do I actually need? What am I interested in? And this becomes more careful buying in my eyes, and less where it used to be, wow, that's amazing, I've always wanted that in Blu-ray, that's a brilliant film, to scratching my head going, I don't know that one, I've not heard of it, I'm not interested in it. I wish they would go back to their cult roots. The reason that a lot of us came to Arrow was because of that, and now they're moving away. You can see that other independent boutiques around about the UK and other places are really starting to take up the slack. The biggest one being 88 Films, who are now really becoming quite prominent, a company I've loved for years, who are releasing the kind of movies that Arrow used to do, who now it almost seems as if that's beneath them. But 88 Films are giving them the treatment that Arrow used to give these movies, and are quite rightly reaping the rewards. I am worried about the future of Arrow. I'm worried that the new owners are going to start to think that they can do things better. They have grander ideas of what they can do with this company. And also the state of Arrow Video, or Arrow Video Player that they have. Now, I haven't signed up for this as yet, but I'm getting close to doing it, because I see a lot of their releases are instantly going on to that streaming service, which makes me wonder about why are they pricing them so high already. I can go out and buy a brand new Arrow release for £18, or I can watch it on the streaming service and decide beforehand whether I like it or want it in my collection. And if I want, I can quite easily just wait till the next Arrow sale and pick it up at a fraction of that initial price. This all seems to be something that is a little bit counterintuitive with business. They're almost cannibalizing themselves a little bit with this. I like supporting physical media. I like Arrow, but their titles are becoming hit and miss for me, and not always do I find something that I am enthused by. But if I can sign up to the video player and watch these movies beforehand, I'm not going to go and buy the disc immediately. I don't want to watch the movie right after I've just watched it. So I'm going to possibly watch it on Arrow Video Player and then wait 6 months, a year, and go, yeah, I like that, I'll pick it up now. Or they've lost that blind buy that I may have taken, that £18 that I might have thrown down for a movie that I was excited about checking out. It feels as though things are changing, particularly within the physical media market, but more particularly within Arrow Video, a company that I do love, but I will not freely give them all the rope that they need to hang themselves with. I want to keep them accountable to what they're doing. I want the cult cinema. I don't want constant reissues. I want a better range of movies on physical media. I don't want the things that we've always heard before. Now, new movies is great. It's not always going to be things I want, but giving something new that hasn't been on Blu-ray before is the kind of thing that Arrow Video should be doing. This merger or takeover by the Hut Group is something that has got me worried, along with the death of Arrow Academy, which was shocking and worrisome. I am genuinely concerned about where they're going to go and if they're going to become more populist in their manoeuvres, or will they be allowed the freedom to continue what they're doing. Even if they're doing that, I don't know if that's as exciting as they once were. As a fan of Arrow, I am concerned, I am worried. I've not wrote them off. I'm eagerly waiting to tackle their sale, but I do have some misgivings. I'd love to know what you think of this merger, what you think of Arrow recently in the past year or two, their output, the movies, whether you think the price increases are too high. Do you blind buy movies from Arrow anymore, or do you cherry pick what is coming out? Let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.